Live from the Shooting from the Lip studio in Louisville, Kentucky, it's the KT Unearthly Show with your hosts, Kevin Hale and Tiffany Mack.
What is up? Kevin Hale in the Shooting from the Lip studio. It's Friday night, September 9th, 2016. Joining me tonight, like every other Friday night, is my co-host, Tiffany Mack. T-Mac, what's up?
Hey, how's it going this evening? Did you get your computer loaded?
It's getting there, let's say that.
It's getting there. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, what's been up? I hadn't talked to you in a while.
No, it's weird. When I don't do your Monday or Wednesday night shows, I feel like I'm lacking. There's something missing, and I didn't get my fill of Kevin Hale this week. No hail yeahs this week. So
yeah, no hail or no storms or lightning or anything like that. Now, yeah, because last Friday's show it was a recorded show, so we didn't do a live show last Friday. You did the camping thing over the weekend.
Oh yes,
right?
yes I did. I went tenting with my husband and two daughters, and I ended up at the bottom of the air mattress the second night, and it was losing air. So let me just tell you that we will not ever be going tenting again. I can't handle it. My body is too soft. I've just decided I'm too much of a big baby. So we will be getting a cabin next year.
Yeah, too
what were your plans for the weekend? Did you end up having a good time for the holiday?
I did. My daughter and her family and the grandkids were in town, wrapping up their visit. To hang with them, and just I think I went to see some bands over the weekend and just chilled out. And I think, as I told you, this week is just, even though it's been a short work week, Monday being Labor Day, it was a long grinding week. So I'm glad Friday is here for us. So.
Well, it's nice that we all survived. Yeah.
Social media, you can subscribe to our show on iTunes or YouTube. It is Shooting from the Lip. Twitter is at the Shooting Lip. At Tiffany Mack _ET, at Kevin Hale 423. You can like us, follow us on Facebook and Instagram, Shooting from the Lip and the KT Unearthly Show. We are also on the SoundCloud and Stitcher apps for your listening pleasure. Live tonight via Blog Talk Radio, even without the cooperation of AT&T, Uverse, Internet. Damn them. Anyway, tonight we share with us who our guest is tonight before we go into the KT4 or TK4 play.
Well, tonight we have a lovely woman named Jeannine Wiest, and she is actually an advanced certified craniosacral therapist and Reiki master and holistic coach in Los Angeles. She holds craniosacral certification from the Upledger Institute, where she has been a longtime teaching assistant. Wiest is a leading expert in combining craniosacral therapy concepts and creative principles. Her mission is to open people's mind to the significance of having a nature-based and metaphorical relationship with one's own body. It's going to be all about finding ways to heal yourself from within. So I'm really looking forward to it, as a lot of people who have been down the traditional medicinal route and maybe not received the type of care from people it's going to be interesting, because I think that different alternatives are always good for people to look into.
You want to do the TK4 play now and wait till later?
Yeah, let's go for it.
Okay.
Are you ready? TK foreplay.
Okay.
Okay.
One of our favorite topics is alien life, ufology. Are we alone? An interesting story that I came across that I wanted your take on is the headline. The headline is, China may be Earth's first nation to detect alien life, and primarily it's because they boast the most powerful radio telescope. In this case, bigger is better. What's your take, Tiffany, when it comes to, in this case, their radio telescope? You have SETI, recently was in the news because of distant sound, if you will, that was supposedly so many light years from Earth.
Well, okay, so a radio telescope is like a sensitive ear listening to tell meaningful radio messages from white noise in the universe. It's like identifying the sound of cicadas in a thunderstorm is what the article states. So I'm assuming that when it comes down to having a better set of earphones, that you have more chances of picking up things that are not necessarily white noise. I tend to believe that the ETs are already here, and I believe that there is the opportunity to identify new civilizations through listening. But I really do feel like they're already here. For the most part, we've already been infiltrated. Gosh, I can't talk tonight. So if you can find definite proof of communication from somewhere way out there that we know we have not been to, then yes, I would love to see the information. Yeah. I would love to see it. I would love to hear it. It doesn't matter if it's clicks or bursts of sound. I don't care what it is. If it's different than what they hear on a normal basis, then I would love to hear it. That does not mean that we're going to be able to identify the meaning of the sounds, but it is a start. And CSETI has been around for quite a while, and the whole search for extraterrestrial intelligence out there has been around for a long time. And, they had the movie Contact and that was all about just hearing this strange pattern of signals that ended up being able to translate into from radio to TV waves. So it's a possibility. It's always a possibility. But I really do feel that there's already extraterrestrials here. It's just a matter of opening our minds and being able to really accept that fact.
No, I'm with you. I think in this case, if we discover a sound or noise, white noise, whatever, from a distant planet, it's just because it happens to be some type of life force on that distant planet. That for whatever reason, or maybe like us, that are not able to travel like the aliens who are already here, which is my opinion as well. So,
right.
Another
so we're in
story
agreement. We think that they're both here.
yeah.
Okay.
And they've been here.
I agree.
One of the other topics we'll get into are ghost stories and hauntings or whatever. I thought, are you a fan? Were you a fan of the Bee Gees?
Isn't everybody?
Well, I guess there's certain levels.
Music, my parents, but yes.
Yeah, there's certain levels. Yeah, obviously, if I'm under a disco ball,
you're a little bit older than I am. You probably partook of the Bee Gees a little bit more than I did.
Yeah, I'll probably start into the Staying Alive dance routine if the crystal ball is spinning above me. But there was a story. See, the last surviving member, Barry, admitted that he has seen his brother's ghosts. He said they're real. It goes to that whole thing where, we've talked how, it's certain people's genetic makeup is able to still connect with, or can connect with the other side. Like you, unlike me, unlike mommy, your mommy. I'm dragging the whole family tree, and actually, what's that ancestry website that you go to? What was that called?
Ancestry.com.
Oh, that was, like I said, if you did that,
it's been a long week, hasn't it, Kevin?
It has, yeah. Well, if you went on that website, do you think you would actually go back to one of your ancestors arrived in a in a saucer shaped,
Oh, instead of a boat, we came in a craft? Maybe.
Yeah.
I feel that we've sort of touched on that before. When it comes down to it, I feel that humanity may have begun with life forms that were already here on planet Earth. I actually just saw an article recently that discussed the possibility that humanity may have been begun with the chimpanzee and the pig and created some form of hybrid from that. I think it's interesting that someone would really come up with something like that, because I'm not that, I haven't been exposed to that type of work before. So I like the idea. And so what they would have done would be create this human hybrid, right, between these two creatures and called it human, and definitely gone back and adjusted the DNA. And I think that, we may not fully know the genetics behind what humanity actually is. We have Darwin's theory of evolution and things like that, and they don't really have that complete answer for us, and they always talk about the missing link. Well, maybe the missing link is actually from out of this world, and I don't think that's that far-fetched. Now, I don't know where we came from, but I do feel that some of us are more able to connect and lock in with that higher self, the higher consciousness. There's something else there that is pushing us forward, and I think that we all are a little bit alien, to use the term sort of loosely.
Loosey-goosey. Well,
loosey-goosey.
We don't know. We can't for sure say where we've come from, but I know where we can go. And where we can go right now is, let's bring on guest of the night, Jeannine Wiest. Jeannine, from
Hello.
the Valley. How are you?
Hello.
It's good to hear your voice this evening.
Greetings. Greetings from an alien, right?
We're going to have to get into your Vulcan story in a minute, but let's I know. Let's discuss a little bit about how you came to get into this field and get into writing this book, The Alchemy of Self Healing.
Well, you were talking earlier, are we alone? And I think that sometimes when you feel that you are extra sensitive, or that, the world that's happening around you or what you're being taught in school isn't all there is, or isn't jiving with what your awareness is picking up, you start to look for alternatives. And I always did artistic things as a way of expressing myself beyond words. but sometimes the right words are exactly what's needed. And so I decided to write a book because my journey was extremely nonlinear to get to becoming a healer. And I know there are a lot of people out there who are feeling like misfits, and I thought, you know, the more authentic we can be with our own journeys, we kind of can sort of offer a hand to the people coming up after us. So, you know, I feel very strongly that frequencies are accessed through our senses. Whether you're creating art, a lot of my clients are artists. Actually, I have one woman who's actually just turned 71, never knew she could draw, and she's incredible. And she feels like her whole life has opened up. She's mended fences with her daughter and her family, and all through art because of some craniosacral coaching we did. So you see, I'm a huge fan of what's nonlinear and finding the connections that are not apparent, right? Not the obvious connections. So right there, that puts me in the alien category, doesn't it?
Well, yeah, but can you explain what craniosacral therapy is? Because, I mean, I've experienced it and it changed my life. But please explain the process and what it is for.
Well, craniosacral therapy is actually now becoming a little bit more mainstream in terms of they're saying now it helps with your neck and headaches. So we'll take what we can get. But actually, it goes much further than that into the old stories that are etched in your DNA, maybe ancestrally, what you've absorbed through your mother's womb, that you latch onto as a small child, but you don't really know what to do with. And if those stories are stagnant energy in your body, they can wreak havoc later on in life. So craniosacral therapy is a super gentle, educated, really specific and non-invasive therapy that supports your body's own ability to heal. And that's really huge, and it also goes exactly in the face of what modern medicine is, which is, here, let me give you this shot, let me put this poison into you so you don't get some flu that probably this shot isn't going to help you keep you from getting anyway, or eat all the junk you want, but take this pill and you'll never know. You'll be able to just go on your merry way and eat as many, you know, chocolate-dipped, corn-fried, random.
Oh, my goodness.
You want. and you know, I mean, the fact is that when your body starts telling you, you know, giving you cramps and pain, that's a message. And there was probably a much nicer, sweeter message before that you totally missed while you were reaching for your third or fourth chicken, corn, chocolate, whatever dog thingy, you know, fried thing that you were reaching for. So there's that moment. There's a moment where your body is talking to you, giving you an instant message, and you ignore it because why? You want to be cool in front of your friends, or everyone's doing it, or well,
you're
I
just
can't say no to mom.
Or you're just addicted to things that you shouldn't be addicted to.
Yeah, but usually it's true, but even then I would drill down into that and say, well, why? You know, and usually people want it, if people see themselves as a victim in some way, or they really want to be right, then they create the situation around them where they are right. Same thing for people who don't believe in extraterrestrials, as you were talking about earlier. You know, you create a scenario where you say, well, the science doesn't show blah, 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 when in reality...
I think our science is wrong, first of all. I think that science is created by people who want to sell books.
Well, they want to be comfortable and they want to be right. But one of the first things I learned in a craniosacral class, which is from a guy who's had a PhD in physics, And the first thing he said to me was, Jeannine, scientific proof does not exist. Science is not about proof or even about truth. Science is about models. So if you have a model of the world and the universe, and everything has to fit into that model, of course there's nothing outside that. But does that mean that that's real or the truth or all there is? Absolutely not. Because really, science is not even, and that was a huge shock for me, because I thought certainly scientists are looking for the truth above everything. And not necessarily true. They're saying, here's my model, now let me look for everything that agrees with that, and then we're good to go. If I find 8 out of 10 things that make me feel good about my model, that's true. What if those 2 other things are huge, right? That don't fit into the model.
Yeah, those are good points. Let me jump in. That I'm right now at my time, the time of my life where I'd like to figure out what those 2 things are.
Right.
How is it? I do feel like everyone has a type of gift. Something that I'm really good at. Tiffany, even better than what I'm good at now, for the record. Now, could I be, mentioned an artist? If I set my mind to painting or doing something like that, could I in turn become, some great artist? Could I could I be a great sniper?
Well, the first thing I would like to just look at is the words you used instead. If I set my mind to it, which is a common phrase, but really I would say, if you set your body and your sensory awareness free and forget about your mind, you probably could become whatever you want. Because it would start to flow through you, because you wouldn't be filtering it through your mind, which is going to trip you up. It usually does. You see, but your body always tells you the truth. When you go to pick up a pan and you're not wearing an oven mitt and the thing is hot, you get immediate feedback, right? Oh, got to drop, that's hot. There's no wondering, well, it's hot, but maybe if I stay here a little bit longer, it'll cool down, or maybe all that stuff is spinning you off into the wrong, or not, I shouldn't say the wrong, but into a counterproductive direction, right?
Yes, but so
go ahead.
I guess I
there's
understand.
All kinds of ways to go here. Go.
Yeah.
Well, let's go in all of them.
Well, okay. Let's start with the fact that you struggled to begin with your own issues. You suffered or endured a lot of pelvic pain and pain for years, and then somebody said, "Well, you probably have cancer." Is that how the process began for you?
Actually, to be perfectly honest with you, what I discovered in craniosacral work over the years, when I was born breech with the cord wrapped around my neck, and the likelihood of my being born dead was huge. And when I actually did craniosacral, the somato-emotional work, I realized I had the memory, the sensory bodily memory of what it was like to be in the womb waiting to be born. And my first thought was, and while this was happening during a session, I wasn't aware, oh, gee, I'm doing my birth now. The therapist said to me, "Where are you?" And I said, "I don't know, it's dark," which is always a clue. But, where it's dark, I don't know. And what are you aware of? And what came out clear as day out of my mouth, flying out of my mouth, was, I hope they know what they're doing.
Oh, my gosh.
Because I knew that I didn't have a big shot. And so I figured out a way to move my head under the cord so that when they gave their final big heroic heave-ho, I wasn't strangled. So if you look at that, and then you look at a woman who has endometriosis later in life, and what does endometriosis do? A lot of times it makes you infertile, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, I didn't have a great memory of birth. So in a way, one way to look at this, and this isn't the only way, this is my way, for me personally, because we're just talking about my personal journey. But for me, I think I didn't want pain. And I think that in some way I created it so that I wouldn't be able to be in that position out of some, maybe misguided, who knows. But
that's good. Yeah.
Desire to be safe. Your body's always seeking homeostasis. It's always seeking balance. And as I said before, it's always going to tell you the truth, which people don't like to hear because they think, well, my knee, I can't run like I could 10 years ago. How is that a good thing? No, it's just information. You can do with it what you will. You can have 5 surgeries and try to run track like you did in high school, or you can reach down deep and say, okay, I can't do this anymore. What can I do? And you can grow and evolve and see the staircase ahead of you step by step rather than trying to race ahead and say, but it should be this way, it should be this way. Damn it, because we all know that doesn't usually work, does it?
Right.
We're
craniosacral therapy.
Jeannine. Yeah,
What?
Jeannine's getting a. Damn it.
She's getting what? Oh, fired up.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's give an example. So you and I both had endometriosis. So what happens with that a lot of times is that, like you said, women become infertile because of how much scarring and adhesions that you end up having, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So what I did was I went to a woman like you, a craniosacral therapist. I was recommended by a friend who was very into what I would consider natural healing and the fluffy stuff, okay? Well, I didn't really think that it was going to do anything other than maybe be just like a massage. But after that, before that, I had not, this is getting really deep, but I don't even know why I'm saying this, but I had not ovulated in a very, 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 very long time. So my whole purpose was, A, to stop hurting, and B, to maybe be able to have children in the future. Mm-hmm. And guess what? It helped with both.
Right.
I swear on my life that craniosacral therapy can help if you allow it to do so. Is that pretty much your
think
stance
that's really
on this
true,
process?
Absolutely, I would say absolutely, and I've seen it. And I've helped women get pregnant, and I've facilitated their having a sense of possibility where before they felt completely shut down. I happened to find craniosacral therapy a little too late in my journey. Otherwise, I have no doubt it would have helped me because I would have been able to have someone witness my body stories, which we usually don't share. For example, you just said I hadn't ovulated. Why am I saying this?
Right.
Why shouldn't you say it? Why shouldn't it be something commonplace to share? It's important.
So what's sad is
you have a great story
sad,
that you were able to get pregnant in the end. So how great is that?
Yes, but what's sad about that is that a lot of women and a lot of people in general really haven't known about this process. A lot of these different techniques and procedures that have been going on in the Eastern world for centuries is just coming over to us.
Well, you know why? Because it doesn't big pharma doesn't make any money on it. In the history of this work, there was a Dr. Andrew Still in 1885, and he was a regular physician, and he put forth the idea that the body makes its own medicine. So part of that is deep listening, which is what part of what happens during a craniosacral session. Probably your body, when you were in therapy with that particular craniosacral therapist, your body probably felt heard for the first time in years.
Yeah.
And maybe it was in the process of putting you into early menopause. If you're saying you hadn't ovulated, it may have been the process of shutting down. And all of a sudden it was like, oh, wait a minute, there's hope. There's someone listening. So that's why, actually, to be perfectly honest with you, why I wrote the book is because why shouldn't you be able to do that for yourself? Yes, we need to be heard and witnessed, but there's so much you can do on your own that people don't do because they're waiting for the answer out there somewhere. When really the answer, it sounds like to me, in the story you just shared, was inside all along.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Now, Jeannine, is it safe to say that your book, when it, you as an author, your beliefs, you're probably not ushered to the front of the pharmaceutical party, they're yeah. So I mean, they kind of look at you as kind of the bad guy, right?
Well, they want to poo-poo it because there's no way you can bottle it and sell it. I have some very wealthy people who come to me, and sometimes they'll say, "Oh, should I be investing in your company?" And I'm like, "Well, if you want to help me pay my mortgage, it's not like a big production over here." And I don't think any craniosacral therapist is doing it, to sell on the stock exchange. But that's what big pharma is looking for. They're looking for how they can, they're in the business of keeping you a customer. So if you get better because you meditate, do some sensory exercises like what I'm suggesting in the book, develop a sensory-based relationship with your body, change the words you use, your self-talk, where does that get them? Nowhere. So, and what's really, what?
Yeah, no, tell us, what is the 8-question quiz?
Well, that's, as we've already established, I'm a pretty nonlinear person. So the quiz, the quiz is meant to be something you do at the beginning of the book and at the end, because people like results and they like to be able to quantify what happens. Now, if someone has something magical happen halfway through the book and halfway through some of the work that they do, whether it's with me or I do online classes as well, or just from the book, you can do so much. You can do an awful lot. And let's say they get something amazing, wonderful, but there are still some people who are going to go through the end and be unsure. Maybe they skim through the book and they think, well, this is great, and they pick and choose. I've deliberately layered the exercises so that they build and deepen your awareness, because it can be a little scary when you're changing a habit, especially if you're listening to your body when many people have a really negative relationship with their body. I mean, really negative, and oftentimes women really go to town on ripping themselves apart. So the 8-question quiz, you can start at the beginning and see where you are. It's fun, it's easy. And then at the end, I have you take the book, the quiz at the end of the book, so that you have an opportunity to see how your answers are different. And I have yet to meet someone for whom their answers have not changed. So sometimes it's more dramatic than other people, but if you follow the guidelines, which are fun and meant to be things you can fit into your day pretty easily, you'll get a shift, you'll get a change, and you'll develop a relationship with your body. What I say to people now is how great to be able to know authentically that when you make a decision, your first decision is the best decision, and to not second guess yourself. How great, how freeing is that? Or if you feel like, well, that's not me, how freeing would that be? So one of the ways you can just determine where you are right now in terms of how open you are to leading a sensory-based connection with your body is by taking that quiz. And it's fun.
So, okay, so your body is constantly on alert, right? And you don't always know how to listen.
Well, your body is constantly giving you messages.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully you're not on high alert all the time, because then you...
I am, constantly.
Stop it.
Okay, so I know, stop, right? Just stop it. Well, how do you go about doing that?
The first thing I would do, there's something that I teach in my... I do a free online class a couple times a year, and one of the things I teach, I'll share with you now, it's the belly and the heart. And when you have sort of incoming, right, like incoming trauma, incoming, here comes trouble, here comes somebody who's going to argue with you, whatever that is, a lot of times people don't have a way of fending that off energetically. And I'm talking about that unseen slap across the face, not a physical trauma, right? Usually,
like being an empath would do that, sort of take on the emotion and
no kidding,
pull it inside rather than pushing it away.
Yeah, exactly. There's a secret. I talk about it in the 5th and 6th chapter of the book. It's a way to find neutral. So there are 4 steps basically. First, you find a touchstone and a way to ground. I go into that. And then you discover your own energy signature. And your own energy signature, this is really crucial because you're able to discern what's yours and what is other. And for an empath, that's huge because everything can blend into one big pot of soup, and there you are, lost and drowning in it, right?
Right.
So once you're able to separate out, this is mine, this is not mine, then what do you do with it? And I go into the book, and there are a couple of wonderful, simple exercises you can do. And there are pictures as well, if it's an exercise that involves movement. And then, the most important part is to discover neutral. And this is really a game changer. And neutral is not boring. It's not feeling nothing. It's not I don't care. It's an active state of readiness. And it replaces over time that high alert we were talking about earlier. And it's much healthier, and you can actually act from a place of neutral, whereas when you're in that high anxiety place, usually you're just a puddle on the floor, or you're a raging mess, or whatever it is, it's not helpful to you. It's usually detrimental. So tracking, I call it tracking neutral. And it's a way of it's like, I think of it like surfing, like you're surfing your life. And of course stuff is going to happen. People say, well, when I've really alchemically put it all together, then I won't feel any of this bad stuff anymore, right? Or it won't happen to me, or I'll be able to dodge it. And I say, no, that's not really what will happen, and you don't want that to happen because that's a false reality. So we're not saying put rose-colored glasses on or only see, the good. We're saying you're able to decide what you're going to focus on and what you're going to put your lens on rather than just being battered by the waves, for example, or deciding, well, I picked this road, so I'm going to stick to it, and all this stuff is flying at me, telling me I should make a right turn, and I'm not going to do it because I'm sticking with the program. And I think actually that's what the government would like you to do when come to think of it, you know, a lot, and what Big Pharma would like you to do is stick to the program. But the thing is, it's not your program, it's theirs, right? So you're never going to be happy.
Right. I agree.
She played the government. She played the government card.
There. Does that make sense?
I heard the government card. I feel it though, because it's very important, especially when we have such a crazy show going on right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But also,
Jeannine. I was going to say, Jeannine. I was sensing, or I could feel you dancing. I was getting ready to play some music. It was that good.
Why, thank you.
You're welcome.
You know, I also think about, I have a really good friend who designs edible yards for people who live in suburbia and don't want a lawn anymore and would like to raise their own food. And she talks about chemtrails, and she talks about how people can be so ill from just what's falling down from the sky. And you have to say to yourself, you know, where are your rights to your body creating its own medicine in that kind of scenario? They're right out the window, right? Because, I mean, literally, you have no choice. You know, do you choose not to breathe the air on Thursdays because they're crop spraying? I mean, you know, even on a level like that, you really need to come home to your body so that when you have a coughing fit, you pay attention. What's going on right now? Where can I go to, you know, get myself something homeopathic to counteract this? Or not just say, oh, I'm coughing, oh, there's smog, oh, well. No, because in a couple of years down the line, if you have some type of lung disease or lung cancer, and it's traceable back to this, and you chose to ignore it, you know, where will you be then?
Are you saying that we have the ability to purge that type of exposure?
I believe that we do. I don't believe that it's the easiest thing to do necessarily, although who's to say if you believe it's easier, then maybe it'll be easier, you know, for you than someone who is sure that it won't work and then it works a little. Yeah, I absolutely do. But see, it depends on how specific you can be in your relationship with your body. For example, someone who comes and has always had negative things to say, or has had multiple surgeries and has always looked at surgery as being the answer. You know, for someone like that, it's going to be really hard for them to tune in and realize, wow, for all these years I've focused on this one thing. Maybe the answer is simpler, easier, more holistic, more in tune with the universe. You know, that can be really hard, especially if you're the kind of person who likes to be right. Then that's a huge blow, isn't it? Right?
Yeah.
I mean, for me, I really wanted to go back to the endometriosis thing for a moment. I really wanted to have children, and I was married to the man I wanted to have children with, and you know, from that standpoint, things couldn't have been better. So for me to actually realize in the work that I did later with craniosacral and some of the other work that I've done that's more holistic, for me to realize, wow, I had a huge hand in creating my infertility, well, who wants to admit to that?
Yeah.
Right? That's no fun. But yet, through that, I was able to get to a place where I just was able to discover the work that I wanted to do, how I could bring craniosacral concepts to people who couldn't come in, whether they couldn't find a good therapist in their neck of the woods or they didn't have the money, that wasn't enough of an excuse anymore. And I was able to develop this work so that became my baby. And that became...
I'm gonna bring in another I'm gonna bring in another issue to the fold of this craniosacral therapy, and just let you know that the day that I did my first therapy, not only did I have an awakening inside me, and was able to finally ovulate after a very, very long time. I'm talking years. My therapist actually was also a medium, and my younger brother had passed away. I think it was probably 2 years before, and she actually saw my brother and brought forth information about him and how he was okay, and that brought me closure. So this was another level. It was a different level, and it was a different issue altogether. But the whole process brought me closure into an aspect of my life and my world that was completely upside down.
Right.
Is this something that can help your mind heal as well?
Well, it helps you heal when you get your mind out of the way. So in other words, when you won't give it, the way it will heal you is by getting your mind out of the way and off that hamster wheel of whatever you decided when the trauma first entered your body, usually as a child. And move it out so that it's energy that can become useful to you rather than energy that's trapped. And the way you feel that in the body as a therapist, and sometimes the people will feel it as well who are experiencing this session, is it feels cold. Trapped energy is cold. And so when it leaves the body, people will oftentimes shudder or shiver or want a blanket or...
And that's what happened with me, exactly.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We need to send Kevin to you. Yeah, we need a Snuggie for Kevin. Let's fix some of his problems.
No, because here's the problem. If you got me a Snuggie, Tiffany, I'd be upset because with every Snuggie buy, it comes with you get two, and there's usually two little desk lights or something like that. If you don't give me the desk light, something's wrong.
What are you talking about? A death light? What is a death light?
Or whatever little,
I know.
something free besides you'll get two Snuggies, and then they'll throw in these little gifts. If you don't give me the gifts,
the decoder ring, you mean?
The
exactly.
Decoder ring. I like that. I need a decoder
Jeannine
ring.
feels me.
Do you have a decoder ring? Would you like to share your decoder ring?
Yeah. Do it.
Oh my goodness.
I want one.
Okay, so we've discussed some of the issues with craniosacral therapy that you share with your clients and your friends. But let's go into Kevin and I have this dirty little secret, and it's all about ETs. So let's discuss your article about the next best thing to the Vulcan mind meld. Please,
I'm glad you liked that.
Let's talk about this, yes. Tell us about your ideas on how it connects with metaphorical connections and the body listening to the craniosacral therapy and energy work.
Well, I'm always looking for things ways to make new connections. And I always liked Star Trek, but I never really made a connection much. Wasn't what you would call a Trekkie, and I didn't go to conventions and stuff. But I always really appreciated I thought, brilliant writing. But this one episode, I think I had been working on someone who was able to make a huge shift in her life and was really shocked by it. And I think that night, like at 3 o'clock in the morning or something, I couldn't sleep, and I watched Star Trek, and there was that OK Corral episode. And a lot of people are familiar with that, the whole Wyatt Earp story. But what was incredible to me was the actual science that Spock was talking about, and how they all entered a story that everyone knew, and they started playing out their roles without thinking about it, without even thinking that there was an option. And it made me think how often we do that in life, where you step into maybe you step into a family situation, or it's like what happens when you could be growing up with your own kids, your own grandkids, and you go back to your grandparents' house and you turn into a 5-year-old again. Or you start fighting with your brother, or, and you're like, why is this happening? I'm a grown-up. I have no problem with him anymore, and what's all? And you've stepped into a paradigm, and you've agreed to it. And this goes along with whether or not people believe in extraterrestrials, which I think is just ridiculous, right? Like, of course there are extraterrestrials, but
I thought you were getting ready to make fun of Jeannine. I was going to start dancing.
Don't make fun of me
on my end of the phone.
Oh no!
Don't make fun of me.
No.
Well, okay. So Spock says the smallest doubt can be enough to kill you. How does that relate? Because you did specify that specific line, and I love that line.
Yeah, because ain't that the truth? I mean, it's you're in a position where, because there's no room for doubt. You have to believe that whatever's going to happen is going to be for your highest good, even if it involves getting cancer, even if it involves someone you love getting hit by a bus. You have to be able to look at that and say, there's a gift here somewhere, and I have to believe in the story. Obviously, they don't have the time to go into too many ups and downs. I think it's like one up, one down, and then the episode's over. But
right.
they believe. They switch their belief because a discrepancy is shown. So rather than stay in that paradigm, they go, oh, wait a minute. If we're looking at the real story, so-and-so dies, but wait a minute, this other guy just died, and that didn't happen the first time. That didn't happen in the story. So that means change can happen. And that's why if you doubt it, but who are we to change history? Well, who are you not to?
There you go. I have to now bring in one of my favorites. How does factor into your beliefs?
I didn't hear that word, sorry.
Routine, religion. What is your take on? Are you religious? Are you? Yeah.
I would say that my religion is nature. I'm spiritual, and I think that religion was created. They say religion is the opiate of the masses, and I think it's the same thing as I was talking about with chemtrails, or as we talk about with people who believe they can't do anything, or go into doubt and spiral downward. If it's the thing that keeps you from being a murderer, I'm all for it. Like if you're afraid of your priest and you want to say 10 Hail Marys and that's going to keep you from killing someone, then in that case I think religion in and of itself, man-made religion, is awesome. Right? But I think for those of us who think and want to go beyond being told what to do, and know why why is it that you don't want to kill somebody, and to actually go into what the motivation is, what your anger is, and all that, you can find answers in nature.
Okay, I've always had this. Always had this question when it comes to why do people kill, or why do people not kill? When it comes down to it, we are a very warlike being. It's been seen over and over and over again how we like to fight one another. And I've heard there's not multiple races. There's one race. It's called the race of humanity. But why do we constantly fight against each other? And I don't know if that has to do with religion, politics.
Well, sure, there's the whole "my God is better than your God" thing.
Right, but why? Why? I don't get it. I've never been able to understand it.
Because you're only given a small piece of the puzzle, and if you don't look any further, you can make a meal out of that one piece. Mm-hmm. But again, if you take, it's like having blinders on. If you take them off, then the world becomes sometimes too much for people to handle.
Yeah.
And religion allows you to, if you go every Sunday and somebody tells you this is what to believe, and this is how to feel good about yourself, and this is how to walk through the world. It's the same thing as someone saying, "Here, take this pill and you'll feel better," and you don't even say what's in it, what are the side effects, right?
Right. Yeah.
The answer is I'm spiritual, but I would rather pray to a tree.
A tree.
Well,
I'm trying to visualize that.
They've discovered
I see that too.
They've discovered that trees have a communication system, and that they're all connected through their roots. And
really?
Yeah.
No, yeah. And you know what else? They will keep alive a stump of a dead tree with their fluids, with their energy. They connect. It's a very strange thing. Trees are very, very well connected.
Yeah, it's a matrix, and it's intense, and we could learn probably a lot from them. So I just as soon go and meditate by a tree and say, "Tell me something I need to know."
Sort of reminds me about the movie. Oh crap!
I didn't see
Avatar. Jeez Louise, Avatar. With the tree in the center of their, well, I guess religion is what we would call it, just their consciousness.
Yeah.
The connection to everyone, and everyone is connected by, a network of energy.
And there's also the idea of the saying, "as above, so below." A tree, you can tell what a tree's root system looks like by looking at its branches. And you can make a metaphorical connection to a human life, to extraterrestrials, to anything you want. Why not?
I would have not guessed at all that the direction of tonight's show would have got me to a tree. But what you're saying is actually makes sense. I do see. I'm with you. I'm with you guys.
Awesome.
Yeah, I think.
Hug a tree and tell me how you feel. Yeah, no, so, I mean, that's in the end why I wrote the book, is because I want to put people here are things you can do that are practical. You can do them every day. You can fit them in your morning routine. You can do them on a break from work. Here are real things you can do that will widen your perception and help you forge a positive relationship with your body, which will then only have a ripple effect in your life.
So what are the 3 transformative tips that you would have for people?
Well, the first one that I would do, I don't know about, I know I wrote that article of the 3, but the most important thing I'd want people to do is we started to talk about the belly and the heart. So I'd like to just give you that little exercise if you're interested.
Sure,
Okay.
absolutely.
So usually we were talking about incoming trauma and stuff, and usually it will come in one of two places, typically. It'll either come in at chest level, like sometimes people will feel a pang in their heart, or you'll feel it in your gut. And in your gut, it can mean where you have that queasy feeling like, oh, I don't like this person, or what they just said was creepy, or you'll have a feeling of wanting to curl up in a fetal position, even if you're at a meeting and there's no way in hell that's going to happen. But that's the feeling that you have. So because those are two portals, I mean, you can talk about them as chakras, you can talk about them as plexi, if you want to. You can use any terminology you want, but those are two regions where it's always really good to make a habit to check when you feel like you've just been slimed by somebody, or you feel like you have to make a decision and your emotions are getting the best of you, whether it's you're starting to see red, or you're starting to feel sad, or you're afraid you might say something knee-jerk reaction thing that you will regret. And what's great is that you can put your hand on your belly or your heart, and it's socially acceptable. Nobody's going to wonder what weird exercise you're doing. But you're basically bringing attention. So the first thing to do is, let's say someone's sliming you, just check in and go, okay, is this a belly or a heart thing? And just pick whichever one comes to you, first thought, best thought usually. And you'll just take your non-dominant hand and place it lightly over that area. And again, I stress, don't worry about if it's right or wrong. Just go with the first thought, best thought theory, because it's usually right. Mm-hmm. And the way I want you to, so the way I want you to have your hand as well is not clutching or grasping or gripping or heavy. I want you to just imagine your body, because your body is mostly water. I want you to imagine your hand is a leaf on that water. So it's just resting ever so gently on either over your belly or across your chest or your heart. Mm-hmm. And just that act, if you just take I'll give you 20 seconds to just tune into that. Just that alone will change your frequency. Because all of a sudden it puts you in your body, out of your head and in your body. Your attention is, because it takes concentration to have such a light leaf on the water touch. It's self-soothing. And you're signaling to your body that you're paying attention to it, that you're there for it. You're witnessing it. How does that feel?
All right. Pretty good on several levels.
Yes.
Yeah. But I wonder, is this similar to the tapping technique?
I love EFT. I love tapping, but this is a little bit different because it's self-directed, and I think EFT is a little more other-directed. Like there are recipes. You go in between the eyes, and then you go under the nose, and then you go under the chin. So they're kind of like where to go. Here, I'm suggesting here are two portals, and that's not to say that sometimes it might not be your throat where the incoming trauma is. Interestingly enough, when I was getting ready to talk to you guys tonight, I had a story that I thought I wanted to tell, and I all of a sudden started coughing. And then I started laughing, which is hard to do at the same time. But there I was, coughing, and because I realized, this is not something to do. This is not the story. My body is saying, don't tell that story, or don't open up that subject because they're, go in a different way. And see, I was able, because I have a connection with my body on
Whoa.
level.
Hold on.
Uh-oh.
Hold on.
Uh-oh.
Hold on. Yeah.
You've
Jeannine,
lost him.
you cannot tease us with something like that. That is like how about this way? Let's look at the cough. It's just like you had a tickle in your throat. It wasn't telling you not to say anything. You just had a reaction to something. Yeah, a tickle.
And you're just saying that you want me to tell you a story.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean,
if it's
to hear the story.
Oh yeah, come on, bring it.
Well, I'll tell you. I have something else to tell you.
No, that's not the same.
No, it's super cool. No, because here's the thing. Sometimes you say stuff, and it's just if it's not set up right, you go off on way more of a tangent than you can ever come back from. And I want to give people really solid stuff that you can do. Like, I think you guys got something out of doing the belly and the heart, even that little tiny simple thing, because of the way I presented it and because you were open to experiencing something, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So after my coughing fit, I came up with this really cool exercise that is a standalone piece. And what I would recommend for people who want to know the other thing, you can go to my website, and there's a download of a free 30-minute meditation. It's all body-related, and it's totally free, and it's super cool. And that will be the, and you'll know that why I was coughing. Is that fair enough, Kevin?
Basically, you're saying for 3 easy payments, I can get the answer. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, for 3 easy payments of 0. For 3 easy payments
it was
of 0.
Jeannine just pulled a promotional stunt on me. You did, Jeannine. You reeled me in. I took the bait, and now I got to go to your website to get the answer. Nice move, touche. You got me.
Do you believe me that I didn't mean to do that? That wasn't that just happened? Because that is the case.
I believe you.
So here's this really cool thing I want to share too, and this is something that's more self-contained. It's called the Inspired Desire Self-Check. So this is a way you can tell whether or not you have an inspired desire or a reactive desire. And it's really hugely important, and just this piece is super cool. So think of something that you would like to manifest, okay? And once you think you know what you want, there's a 4-question self-check I'm going to teach you. And you can do this over and over again, so don't worry if you're wondering if you picked the wrong thing or it's not going to work. The idea is to notice how you feel with each response, okay? Okay?
Yeah.
So this is, again, going back to your body being a great barometer for the truth, and that it will never fail you when you pay attention to it. So I'm going to tell you about a desire alignment position. You may want to try this later. You may not be able to do it now. I don't know how your studio and computers are set up. But if you wanted to stand, you could stand in what's called the desire alignment position. So you have your legs about hip width apart, and allow yourself to feel nice and balanced on both feet with your knees feeling soft. So you want to make sure your knees are not locked.
So you don't pass out. And even
if you're sitting down, sorry, what?
So you don't pass out.
Right.
That's what I was always told. Don't lock the knees.
That's true. Yeah, right. That's a different exercise, the passing out part. So imagine your feet are sinking deep into the ground, and you can do this now even if you're sitting for this round. Now we're going to take 3 cleansing breaths, which are in through the nose and out through the mouth. Okay, so we're going to do 3. And as you take your breaths in your own time, allow yourself to feel a sense of calm running through your core channel. So it's going to be running from above your head, through your body, out through your feet, down into the ground. You can think of that tree image that we were talking about earlier. And now from this position of alignment, you're going to ask yourself these 4 questions. And what's most important is to notice how you feel with each of them. And where in your body do you feel it? So the first question as you're focusing on what you want to manifest is, why is this important to me? Why is this important to me? Okay, so now as you ask yourself that question, notice how your body is responding. And in particular, notice, is the feeling or the sensation expansive or contractive? Are you guys with me?
Oh yeah.
I'm still here. I'm listening. I'm participating in silence.
I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it.
Okay.
I'm participating.
Okay, good. So a desire born from inspiration will feel in some way expansive. And a desire born from fear will feel contractive. So an example of expansive feeling could be like it could feel big and juicy. It could feel like the heady feeling of falling in love. Or it could be really quiet and just simple, like a sense of peace when you have that click of knowing that just something really feels true. So it doesn't have to be huge to be expansive. It can be quiet and peaceful as well. And contractive can feel like a tightening in your gut, or it can feel like a hard ball in the pit of your stomach, or like a contraction around your heart or your chest. So if you do this a couple of times about a couple of different manifestations, goals, you'll get to learn your body's signals and what your body's signaling you for expansion and contraction, because it's not the same for everyone. So you'll know, oh, that pit in my stomach, that's that's a fearful thing. And it's kind of key for you to get to know them. So even when your head is telling you one thing, your body will always tell you the truth. And the more you practice, the better you'll get at instantly determining what that is. So next you'll ask yourself, is the need that this desire wants to fill, is it the need for love, security, self-worth, creative expression, or expansion? I'll say that again: love, security, self-worth, creative expression, or expansion. And just notice which ones come up for you. Then we're going to move on to the second question, which is, who will I get to be? So the first question is, why is this important to me? Second question, who will I get to be? And this is usually a pretty yummy one, because we all have different roles that we play, and we've been talking about that during this talk this evening even, and different identities that we try to live up to. But underneath all of that is the eternal being waiting for the greater expression, right? Your soul's expression. So as you step into the identity of who you truly are, your creative power really expands. So who will you get to be? Once you've manifested what you want, who will you get to be in the world? And the most important thing here is, how does that feel in your body? And can you use sensory words? I had a client recently say, I would feel shiny, I would feel seen, I would feel heard. Most important word out of all of that was shiny, because that's the body's language. The body understands what that means, and it will
shiny?
do its best.
What do you mean by what does that mean exactly?
What, shiny?
Uh-huh.
Well, no,
Like
this
maybe...
is just a specific thing that meant something to this client. So for
Oh, okay.
you, shiny could leave you cold, and for you
Right.
it could be something different. For me, I might say I feel sky blue.
Like sparkly, just energetic.
Well,
and
sparkly is great. But
Okay.
but the whole point is that you're not trying to get it right. You're trying to get it you.
Okay.
Does that make sense? So that was just maybe not a great time to give an example.
No,
Sorry.
yeah. No, it does. No, that makes sense.
Okay, so first question, why is this important to me? Second, who will I get to be? Third question, how will I get to feel? How will I get to feel? So when you think about successfully achieving this goal you've decided to work on for this go-round, how will you feel when you get there? Will it feel uplifting or not? Will it feel, and again, using sensory words that mean something to you.
So you're choosing to make these positive affirmations, correct?
No, because not necessarily, because again, this is a way of figuring out if it's an expansive desire or if it's a reactive desire. A reactive desire is fear-based and will usually get you spiraling down, circling the drain. So it's usually a non-starter, and this is a great way to either revisit if that's the case, or pick something new, or take a look at, what other kind of work you can do on yourself if you find yourself constantly coming up with only reactive desire. So a reactive desire is I have to get a promotion because my wife is going to kill me, and the dog needs surgery, and my mother-in-law needs braces, or I don't know, I'm just making stuff up. Whatever that's a reactive desire. So we all know those people. Those are the people who have a heart attack before they ever get where they're going, because they didn't want to go there in the first place, right?
Right.
So it's all about how will I get to feel. And you may at this point realize you have discomfort, and you may realize, wait a minute, this is a reactive desire. Then look, just my explaining this has taken longer than it would actually take for you to do it on your own. So in 5 or 8 minutes, you'd be able to throw out a reactive desire, identify it, and get rid of it, and move on to the thing that's going to really give you the gold. The last question is, how will this help other people? And this is really a great way to circle around and end this particular checklist, because it's a great way for you to see that other piece of the puzzle that an inspired desire always has. An inspired desire is always good for you and good for other people as well.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Oh.
What do you think of that?
We're at the end of this, the show. We're towards the end of the show. I think I'm buzzing, and I really haven't, it's all been based on the words. It's the journey we've gone through. You've taken me to a new stratosphere, Jeannine. Can you call me later and read me a story? I bet you I would follow. I would it would be like the perfect.
But she has a soothing voice, is the thing.
Exactly, she does. That's what I'm getting at. And if I need to, Jeannine, I will pay 99 cents a minute just for about 5 minutes of your voice.
5 minutes.
That's all it needs, about 5 minutes.
Well,
Anyways.
Seriously though, I didn't mean that as a marketing thing. When I do offer this free thing, and it's pretty cool.
See, there she goes again. She
and
is
that'll put you to sleep.
See, what's funny, Tiffany? Mm-hmm. Earlier today, I made you VP of marketing, didn't I? I gave Tiffany this bogus title of Vice President of Marketing for Shooting from the Lip. See, now you take Jeannine offline, or actually, you don't even take her offline. Just take everything that she talked about tonight and just put the Jeannine plan in place. And I think, we'll use it.
Yeah, that's the funniest thing. If you really knew me, it's so far from what I'm good at. But
I know.
I hope you like the
I'm going to sleep well
questions.
tonight. Let's just put that way. Yes,
Yeah.
I will.
Do you need Jeannine do you need those 3 digits behind my credit card? You do, don't you?
No, it's all free. Are you kidding me?
It's all free. All right.
Well,
here
3 payments of
Yeah.
0.
All right, fair enough. And thank you. Now, this is the last part of the show, and we want to get you out of here because I know you got plans tonight. It's a 6-question answer. It's a quick Q&A thing we call Round of Shots, kind of a tongue-in-cheek off our show name. Just some kind of quirky questions we'll throw at you, and just have fun with it. It'll be fun.
Okay.
Just play along.
Play along. What was the first concert you attended?
Elton John.
Can you say when?
Yeah, in the 70s.
Okay.
In his big
Cool.
sunglasses, crazy
Yeah.
costume period.
There you go. Number 2, is it better to ask for permission or beg for forgiveness?
Better to ask for permission.
Okay.
Sorry.
If you say so.
Kevin, be
All right.
nice.
I'm not. It's not a trying to be mean or anything. It's just okay. I'm going to ask this question before you answer it. I have to share a response I got back from. I asked some of these questions on. I do a Monday and Wednesday night show as well. So the question I'm getting ready to ask you, and I'll let you answer, but I'm going to share with you a response I got from a different show. The question is, if you could choose one superpower, what would it be?
I'd want to be invisible and fly through the air.
That sounds like it's two. That sounds like it's 2 superpowers.
Can I beg you for forgiveness?
And beg me for forgiveness. Oh, touche.
Come on! Yeah, I gotta get 10 points on that. Come on, I gotta get.
You did. That's a good one. I like. Oh, you just yeah. Well, check this out. I asked the same question. If you could choose one superpower, what would it be? He thought I said, who would it be? So his answer was Russia because they were a superpower. and this was on my.
That's a good one.
I kid you not, Tiffany, on my Wednesday show, and I stopped. I was cracking up.
I'd like to be Russia because they're very powerful.
At that moment, I said, I have officially retired that question from my Wednesday night show. I will never ask that question again because that answer was like Russia. I was dying. I was like, really?
Like on another planet talking about. Exactly. Oh my God, that's nuts.
Yeah. Number 4, name a Jeannine guilty pleasure.
I like to watch reruns of Wonder Woman.
Oh, that's nice.
The single cheesiest show you could ever
Let me.
I never watched it when it was on, but
that always amazed me. That was always that Wonder Woman superpower. Is it the thing with the lasso is her superpower? Isn't that what it was?
That's one of them. It's part of the belt. I really wanted the belt.
Oh, you wanted the belt. But the lasso, wasn't it to wrap around the bad guy or whatever and force them to tell the truth? Which is, if there's one superpower a woman would want, is for men to tell the truth. I digress.
Jeannine, I am going to have to get out my Photoshop program, and I'm going to make you that belt.
Yeah, let's do it.
Awesome.
All right. Number 5. What is your favorite phone app?
Uber Eats.
For real?
Uber Eats? Does that mean that they bring food to you?
They have a delivery service.
Oh,
so
wow.
If you're under deadline, and you really want ice cream and you can't, they'll just drive it to you.
I like that. I think we need to find out if we have Uber Eats here, Kevin.
It's dangerous.
It's dangerous. Jeannine lives on the danger side.
The dangerous ice cream side.
Yeah. All right. The last question for you. If you had access to a time machine and can go anywhere in the past, your living past or pre-birth past, where would you go?
As I get older, I think I would have said like some Renaissance period, but I'm going to say I would like to have a conversation with my father again, and he died 15 years ago. There are some things, I don't know if either of you has lost a parent, but wow, I would like to ask him some stuff that I just didn't have the presence of mind to, and I think that would
That's
be...
good.
Yeah.
Very, very unselfish. Though Tiffany, you and I both lost siblings, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. So there you go.
Yep. Yeah, I'd
feel
have
like
one
it
more
appears
conversation with
unfinished?
my brother. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Do you, Kevin?
What's
Do you
that?
have unfinished business or conversations that you would like to have with your sister?
I would.
Yeah. I'd give advice if I could.
I actually would listen. I would do more listening.
Mm-hmm.
She knew me
Mm-hmm.
as good as anybody has ever known me. And I haven't changed that much in 15 years. So she was a straight shooter to me. And back then, I didn't want to hear it. Now, I would be okay to hear
Right.
it. So,
Isn't it interesting how time, changes things?
Mm-hmm.
Well, sorry, I should have ended on a joke, but I hope that was...
No,
if you'd like to add one, you're more than welcome to.
if you have a joke, go ahead.
Joke?
I don't joke.
No. Put her on the spot. What's your joke, Jeannine?
Come on.
I don't have a joke. The joke I have is about the talking horse, and it's a really long joke, and I'm the only person I know that thinks it's funny, except the guy who told it to me, and I married him. The big horse and little horse are in the field, and they're talking and saying, and they're going to have, one of them's going to have a race with the other one.
Is there only going to be one in the race?
No, they're going to race each other, and the little one is saying to the big one, he has to talk him into it. I'm trying to cut it short. He's trying to talk him into it. Come on. We'll just run. How about if I run down? I'll let you run down to the fence, and I won't start until you turn around. So I'll give you that much of a lead. Come on. So finally the other horse says, sure, okay, I'll do it. So sure enough, the big horse starts and he runs it down. He starts to turn, and true to the word, the little horse, waits till he does, and then he turns around and puts on a huge burst of speed and breezes past the big horse and wins. And the big horse is furious, and he says, I can't believe you did that to me. I can't believe you did that to me. I can't believe I let you talk me into this. And I absolutely can't believe this happened. And he walks over to a cow who's standing in a nearby field and says, did you see that? Did you see what he did to me? And the cow looks up and says, what do you know, a talking horse. All right, that's my sense of humor.
That was a horrible joke.
Thank you.
Nice.
Lovely. I like it.
Yeah. All right,
It's all
Jeannine.
right, I don't remember jokes, so I can't even tell you one. So it's all right.
Yeah. Well, Jeannine, you got somewhere to be. So let's finish up with you by you sharing all of your social media sites, places to go to get all the answers to the questions that you wouldn't answer for me, that others can go to these sites to get.
It's just a really cool audio. If you go to alchemyofselfhealing.com, Alchemy of Self Healing, that's the name of the book, and that's the name of my site, and you can sign up for free and get on my list, and I promise not to send you a bunch of random stuff that you don't want. If you're interested in what I have, it won't be like where you get so tired of me you can't stand it. Those people who send you an email every hour?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
That's not me.
Okay.
So Alchemy of Self Healing. That's it. .com.
Got you.
Well,
You're
thank
on
you
Facebook.
so much.
Yeah, you're also on Facebook and Twitter as well. That I've come to find.
I'm on Facebook, yeah, my name, under my name or under Alchemy of Self Healing. And Twitter is Gypsy NYCLA, because that's me. I went from NYC to LA, and I'm a gypsy.
Oh, I was wondering that. I saw that Twitter. I'm thinking, what the hell is this about? But okay, there you go.
Yeah.
I like that. Cool.
It's
All
been
right,
fun
Tim.
talking to you guys. Thank you.
Oh,
so
yeah.
much.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming on tonight and sharing your story with us and your ways to healing. I really do appreciate it, and I appreciate people like you who are in the field of making people better without needing pharmaceuticals that we are so dependent upon today. And we wish you the best, and hope that you have a wonderful weekend as well.
Thank you. You too, you guys. Thanks so much. Great show.
Thanks,
Thank you
Jeannine.
for having me
Yeah.
on.
Great. Thank
Absolutely.
you.
Thank you, Jeannine.
Bye-bye
Take
now.
care. Good show, Tiffany. We were
Yeah, lots of fun.
lots of fun, lots of information.
Mm-hmm.
At times, I thought it was the girl show. Y'all start talking that infertility.
Oh,
yeah. So, hey, but
Well, you know who else? You know who's on the line right now?
her mic is turned on.
Queen
Mom.
Colleen. Queenie. Is she asleep
She
again?
fell asleep. She fell asleep. I will keep this
We must
sound
give her a
bite.
wake-up call before we do this.
You need to She's All right, never mind. Queen. Well, I'm gonna cut this soundbite out for her so she knows.
Yeah.
We're gonna send it to her that we tried to get her on. It'd be cool if we heard snoring. But anyway, all right, Tiffany. Good show tonight. We are gonna be back on a schedule next Friday, September 16th.
Yeah.
We'll be having the husband and wife team of Gary Osborne, Heather Osborne, talking some paranormal stuff.
Gary or Greg?
Gary. Look,
Okay.
you misspoke the name of our guest tonight, so trust me on the name. How about that?
Okay, I will.
Oh.
Absolutely, dear.
All right. And all this, I have to share. Tonight's episode was 190. All this is taking us to October 3rd, Monday night. You, myself, Russ, and Greg will be part of. It is episode 200. As of right now, I have 11 guests lined up to come on and give a quick shout out to us, tell us what they're all about. And these people have been kind of key little or fun guests, in the past Monday night
in our
shows.
development.
They are. They were.
Development.
Yeah. So that's it. The big countdown is coming October 3rd. But in between that, the Friday before that, September 30th, mark it down. Rich Dolan is scheduled to be our guest.
Oh yeah. What about the 23rd? My birthday.
23rd, Lee Pennington. Bosnian Pyramids. Those are going to be. Yeah, I'll say tonight was like an episode that was really geared towards your strengths. I'm not as familiar with it, and you did well. You handled the show well. I chimed in when I could, and the next 3 shows will be like, actually, the next 4.
It's going to be all you, buddy.
It'll be pyramids, ufology again with or the paranormal, then the pyramids, ufology with Dolan, and then after that is John Ventry. I mean, we've got, and then
Dolan.
Todd Rayburn.
Dolan's going to be partly political too. So.
Oh yeah. So yeah, it's going to be that'll be a loaded show.
No time were any animals or people hurt during this presentation of Shooting from the Lip.